will tell you, the second I went out and invested in photo shoots, my Instagram did so much better, and I'm taken more seriously. What would that look like if like we were to work together? Like I've seen your offers. I know you do some sessions, but like, can you kind of show everyone what that service would look like? Because I think you're the first person we've talked to that does this, and it's so original. And like I said, I can see a couple of my students kind of really excelling at this, who are like the creative types.
What I love about what I do, so if we would work together, it would all be about like, okay, how can I help you create the most one-of-a-kind online brand experience that when somebody comes into contact with your brand, it's like magnetic. They're like, they've never seen something like this before. It completely hooks them in. It's so you, and it's so different. And so the very first place we start when I work with my clients is the foundational work. So I call it getting clear on the core essence of you. So a lot of times people talk about personal branding as their personality, like a personality-driven brand, which I don't disagree with, but it cuts out so much deeper than what needs to happen. So the core essence of you is so much more than your personality. So I would help you like figure out completely who you are, because a lot of times it's so hard to be really clear about who we are because we're so close to ourselves and we're our harshest critic. It's like this double whammy of like, oh my God, and then imposter syndrome and all this kind of stuff. So It's all about getting clarity on who you are, like black and white. I take everything that's like kind of swirling around in the gray matter and make it black and white. And then once you know exactly who you are and how you do it, then it's time to position it and create your one-of-a-kind $1 million idea hook that you go all in it. Because the other thing too with personal brands that are really dynamic is they're actually quite narrowly focused, because if you try and say all the things, if you try and let all of you come through in your personal brand, which I know might sound like a contradiction, you'll lose people. So then it's about finding, okay, what is the one hook? What's the one angle that we can go all in on that just hooks people in? So that's the really fun, like creative part, that really strategic foundation that's built. You figure out what your hook is, and then you bring it to life visually and verbally. What headlines, what photos, photo shoots. Oh my God, they're huge for personal brands. We're very visual. Words matter too, don't get me wrong, they really matter. But then you start planning all of that out. So it's all about layers. Like I said, it's all about that strong foundation.
Oh my goodness. So are you doing the work as far as when it comes to like the website, or is this like you're coming up with a strategic map and then you hand it over to someone else to do the work?
That's a good question. So I have different packages. So I have the baseline package is all about like the foundational level, getting clarity on you, finding your hook and all that kind of stuff. I do believe very strongly in the power of what I call brand magic, is when you match headlines to pictures and pictures to headlines. So I do direct like what those headlines need to be, because they're very strategic and they're very purposeful. So I help with that. And then obviously the photo shoot planning, I plan everything out with those. And then from there, like my top level, it's called the total package that I offer, is when I am with somebody start to finish. So I do all of that. And then as well, I am there, like I help them when they work with a copywriter. I'm there to give them advice. I'm there to be like, okay, make sure this is all cohesive. I'm available to do in-person photo shoot direction, offer insight on website design. So I'm like there every step of the way. And just, yeah.
And when it comes to photo shoots, like, okay, let's face it, a lot of us here in this group, we're behind the scenes people, we're doing the work, we don't want to do that. We know it's important. And I will tell you, the second I went out and invested in photo shoots, my Instagram did so much better, and I'm taken more seriously. And the thing is, I hate doing selfies. Like, I hate it. Like, if I do it, I'm like self-deprecating and somebody with duck lips or something. But I hate selfies, although I've kind of I get over myself. Like, you saw my gym no makeup this morning. Like, I don't mind doing that. Like, I've been on TV news, like no makeup in the middle of an event, like 24 hours, like no sleep. And like, that doesn't bother me. But for some reason, posting a lot of pictures of me, like I won't take the picture. So the photo shoot made me step it up. It was like the best money ever spent. And it was
love it.
It was less than $300 with my photographer.
Yep.
We just went outside. I live in a cute little suburb in DC that has lots of murals, and we just went around, and It
I love it.
sucks so bad, Megan, because cars are driving by honking, and I'm like, you just had me like move a lot. That way I'm quiet, like laughing and smiling. Otherwise, I'm like that would be so awesome. I would love my next photo shoot planned out. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to coordinate the outfits. I don't want to like have anything to do with
it. Yes.
So cool. Oh my goodness. So tell everyone, I'm going to go ahead and get to it. We put a link to her freebie in it about the ultimate brand of photo shoot checklist. Like, what's in there? Give everyone a little teaser.
Okay, I would love to. So again, anytime, like if you come into any contact with Megan, you will hear me say this stuff a lot. It's all about the strategy and the foundational level work. That is how I operate and do all the things. So with the Ultimate Brand Photo Shoot, it's walking you through the process that I do with my own clients. Like if we're going to plan out a photo shoot, you need to have these steps in place. So it starts at that foundational level because, and here's the thing, you can DIY things. Like I don't want people to ever feel like they're stuck and they're like, oh, I can't work with what I have now. And I want everybody to if I could be like a, inspirational message, like get started now, do it. But at the same time, with that being said, if you can, invest and do it from the foundational level, this is what that looks like. So it starts with knowing exactly what you're using the photos for, right? If you don't have like an intention and you don't know why you're using them, you're going to end up with photos that aren't very strategic, and they might be flattering photos, but they're not going to be nearly as impactful and make a really strong connection with your audience if you plan them out. So first of all, you want to know exactly why you're using them and how you're using them. That's the first thing. And then as well, you really want to be strategic with like like it gets said, when I said brand magic, like know what your captions are, like know what kind of style of your style is. Is it going to be serious? Is it going to be sarcastic? Like knowing yourself, again, so having that clarity around who you are makes a big difference. So that's like the pre-planning parts of there. And then you get into like the specifics of like, I recommend like really like actually planning out a photo shoot. That's why I love doing this for my clients. It makes their life so much easier. Like what backgrounds do I need? What exact props do I need? What exactly are my outfits? What exactly are my expressions and poses going to be? That's one of the things where I see people get tripped up a lot, is they walk away with a lot of smiling shots of them, which is great. But as humans, we're so much more dynamic than just smiling shots of ourselves. And so like just thinking through like, okay, what kind of shots can I do? How can I vary it up so they don't all have the same pose? They don't all have the same depth from the camera, that kind of stuff. And then as well, you want to be on the same page with your photographer. So you can have everything like living in your brain, but if you don't communicate that, right? Communication is so important. You're going to be disappointed. So it walks you through that process of start at the foundational level and then build everything on top of it.
Oh my gosh, I need this so much in my life. And it's so true. Like I've been on the flip side doing the client work where I have 12 good headshots to use. It doesn't help me do the work. And I'm left like, I need a better shot. Or sometimes it's as simple as I need white space to put text.
Yes.
And I have no room to work with, or I need, and I really had to work with my photographer. I'm like, give me space. Like, don't crop me up close. Don't compose me like super tight. I need space to work with. And I didn't necessarily have that vision, but I did know that some of these walls that I stood by would give me those opportunities, like whatever I decided to use it as. But yeah, it can be so frustrating when you're working with clients who don't have the good photos. But like I told everyone else, I just saw Brienne say she doesn't do selfies or pictures. I'm serious. If you are going to be a freelancer, you need to just do one photo shoot. And you can reuse those. And like Megan said, you don't need all smiley. Like some of my favorite shots are the ones where A, I'm being a goofball. Or B, like they're not all perfect. And some of the really corny ones that my photographer made me do, I ended up loving, but I felt like an idiot taking them.
Yes. I love that. And yes, and that's something too, is like the energy that you bring will translate across the screen. So the more you can get to your element, like whatever that looks like for you, it's going to be different for everybody, but whatever your natural element is, that's the whole goal, is getting to that and showing it across all spectrums, not just happy, because that's the other thing too. The content that you should put out should be dynamic as well, right? You don't want everything being the same. So you're going to have some that's serious, some that's ridiculous, some that's happy, some that's sarcastic, and you want to have the poses and the emotions and the body language to match it, because that will really stand out to people as they're reading it and watching and viewing it.
So one of the big things in Instagram, that's really good advice. One of the big things is to stop the scroll. What do you say with all these pictures that are like the same, like the coffee, the hair, like what's your take on all of that? Do it, don't do it?
So my take on that is it's better to have pictures of you than not to have pictures of you. So if you have a photo shoot done and it's kind of like the, you know, quote unquote cliche in a coffee shop, you know, cute, flattering photos of you, great. I'm really glad that you have photos. Use them. Do not use them. Having a face of you is good. You want to be connecting. Service providers, it's all about that connection. Now, I think that you can take it a lot further, and I'm a huge fan of, first of all, I'm a huge fan of having plain backgrounds, and like, well, I should say, being very strategic about what you're doing, because if you have a lot of distraction things and they're taking away from like you connecting with your audience, that you don't want that, obviously. So the more you can just like eliminate distractions, and then just having you, like, you can have some of you smiling, like I say, definitely have some of you smiling. Like me, naturally, I'm a very smiley person, so that is, you know, me. But at the same time, like, oh my goodness, I just tell people, like, when I plan out photo shoots, like, I give them so many different expressions and body languages and poses that are so much more than just a smiling face, because you are dynamic and people will be interested by that. And that's the other thing. There are so many people that do just have the smiling shots of them, so you will stand out that much more when you don't.